This is the Convene Podcast. Welcome to another episode of the Convene Talk, where we discuss interesting stories that appear in our popular newsletter, News Junkie. My name is Magdalena Tanasova, Digital Media Editor of Convene. This week, I picked a story from Travel Weekly titled Events Travel, That's the Ticket. In short, the article speaks about travelers being eager to pair once-in-a-lifetime trips with blockbuster events and how travel suppliers are responding to this trend, offering more and better crafted packages. And while the article focuses on blockbuster events such as Formula One or major concerts, of course, Taylor Swift had to be mentioned, and the Olympics, a couple of things stood out to me that I think the business events industry should pay close attention to. The first is that the younger generation seems to be the one traveling more to events, and business events need to attract that demographic to stay relevant. The author drives the point that age is just a number in this case, but especially after the pandemic, people just want to travel. But I think still event planners need to grab that opportunity now because it's a good trend for us and we really, really need to focus on it. Also, it seems that single event is no longer the sole focus of a trip. So according to the article, demand is now moving towards attending one main event and attending other experiences or adding other experiences to it. And experiences in this case is the key word. We explored in a recent episode the VML Trends report, which came to the same conclusion as this author, that people are now more likely to spend on experiences than things. So here's where packages and package deals come in. They are not a new concept by any means, especially in the leisure tourism industry. However, this author argues they are better crafted nowadays and they're catering for a more specific audience, which made me reflect back on my time working on medical meetings. I've seen attendees enjoy cultural experiences that are weaved into the program, and I think we all have when we go to events. But what if planners could work with local partners to prepare package deals for delegates that have the time and want to get to know the destination better, to expand on those experiences? So I believe that's not something, hard for event planners to do. It's quite doable. And it would be very nice to have this add-on for those busy attendees that they have the resources, but they don't have the time to plan in advance. So it will be very cool for them to just purchase it and attend if that offering is waiting for them at registration. This will be great also for the destination. And we know business events drive economic success to destinations. So this will be just one more way to expand that ripple effect. So in short, that's my 2 cents. I'm curious to hear what you all think about the article. And Casey, I see you have something on your mind.
Yeah, thanks, Maggie. This is Casey Gale, managing editor. I thought this was a great story, and it really just brought to mind for me how much the pandemic has changed why people travel and how people travel. I think many learned that a lot of business can be done over Zoom and similar online exchanges. And so in order to get people to travel to an event, there needs to be an additional incentive other than just meetings, because now we know a lot of things can be achieved without, the hassle of traveling and the impact on the environment that a plane has and, leaving one's work and family to go to these events. So it really needs to be a huge incentive to go out of your house or your office and go somewhere new. I think that's why destinations that are close to theme parks and things are always a hit with attendees, because they think, hey, I can bring my family and then we can stay for a few days after, and then that trip was really worth it. And I think it's just a matter of planners making sure that their programs are worth it for attendees and kind of go beyond regular program that used to be a draw.
I'm going to take it from here. This is Michelle Russell, editor-in-chief. A couple of things came up for me from reading this. One is just recently we heard of an event that moved because of a Taylor Swift concert. So there are those times where it's not a good thing to co-locate your event with a big event taking place in the destination because she'll just be pushed out. But I thought maybe there are opportunities for conferences to co-locate with like lesser mega events, like maybe an art festival, especially if your organization or your members have an ancillary interest, if they're an association of illustrators or what have you. That seemed like a really good opportunity to take advantage of that. I also thought it kind of brought to mind how, and we've written about this before, how conferences can also create VIP experiences for attendees so that they get a behind the scenes tour where they get a special seating at an event, or they get something that really, for an upcharge, really makes the experience more exclusive, memorable, experiential for them. Because that basically is what a lot of this article is about, is how this particular writer or the author had a really premium Formula One experience by being able to participate in all these other events, not just, the races themselves. So, Barbara, I think you also have something to say.
I do. This is Barbara Palmer, Deputy Editor. What all of your comments have made me think about is that demographic of the younger person who may not just automatically go to events because they have resources available to them that people didn't used to have. And I'm thinking how, having a after or a pre-event or post-event experience package is a way for people to create, not just have the experience themselves, but to have the experience with other people who are, part of that community. One of the things that I know is true is that if you put people side by side doing something together, they are going to create bonds with one another and get to know one another a lot more quickly if they're just sitting at a blank table, get to know each other. It's just a way to really accelerate those networks in a fun way. The other thing, it reminded me of IMEX in Frankfurt and how I feel like it's very traditional for the people that go to IMEX to do after trips. They fly in from all over, they spend 3 very intense days, and then 8 of them go to Paris, or 7 of them, go to Vienna. If you arrange this for people, I think it's just a wonderful opportunity. Like, those networks are built over time, and you kind of have to know somebody and be part of this group. This is what about creating this for people as a way to be a part of those groups? So I thought there is a lot of potential there.
It's funny that you mentioned IMEX Frankfurt. When you said IMEX, I was thinking, oh, IMEX America, yes, all those tours to Grand Canyon. Because for me, that's, Frankfurt is not that attractive, yes. But, Grand Canyon on the other hand.
And I think that's true, Maggie, also of, Las Vegas. That's definitely the kind of destination where people say, oh, I could go there and maybe bring my family and stay a few extra days or go see the sights in the area. So that's definitely one of those destinations that has attractions beyond the event.
Absolutely. And especially lately, I think after the pandemic, I hear that question of, so are you staying a few days later to explore the destination or to go to a destination nearby? And, I feel the peer pressure when I say, no, I'm not. I have things to come back to. But it's kind of an expectation now. Or, okay, you're going there. What else are you doing apart of the event? Even if you're going to work at an event. So what else are you doing? It's interesting how this is becoming a normal thing.
To me, there is a question about how to organize these and who would organize this. Would it be the destination? I mean, it makes sense. The destination working with events, third parties that create events. And I think for business events, those behind the scene tours here in Silicon Valley, Like if you could spend a day, I don't know, that sounds like an outdated term to me now, like Silicon Valley, but if you could spend a day at IDEO, the design firm, the kind of the birthplace of design thinking, or just go to a place, a company where they have those houses where people are living in houses to develop AI in the future. If like an afternoon there would be part of your coming to a conference here in the Bay Area, I think that would be super attractive. It wouldn't have to be just pure entertainment. It could be, I don't like this word, but I like the content of edutainment, where you do something just super cool and lots of good food and you learn, meet some kind of new way of thinking along with new people.
I think tours like that seem like an achievable way to really attract attendees and make them feel like you're giving them more bang for their buck, because I don't know, we've heard so many examples of, say, a medical meeting having their event in a city that's known for their medical technology and allowing their attendees to tour one of their sites or campuses. And I think that's an easy way for planners to work with the city or any destination to kind of expand the learning beyond the conference.
You know who does an exceptional job of this is the Accor. When they have their annual sales conference and then they invite planners and sales representatives from around the world. And then they have these incredible excursions that really dive into the destination. And they're just really well done.
Just like, I wonder if we're then going to get to the whole backlash. Remember, there was some events becoming like what they called, I'm losing track of the word, but they were just sort of glorified leisure events where they were not really learning experiences. They were boondoggles. There you go. I knew if I waited long enough, it would come to me. They were like boondoggles. So there was this backlash.
Oh, yeah.
But this feels like it is centered around an experience that's already happening, like a fun experience, right? And then adding like an educational component to it. So that's sort of the reverse of it. It's just, I do remember there being this huge backlash with boondoggles and events that were held at resorts and how much learning was actually taking place because people were at the pool or they were doing whatever. So I wonder if we're going to ever get back to that mentality.
I think the current mentality is really driven by post-pandemic sentiments of really wanting to experience things and making the most out of any travel that you do. So I don't see that having the same response as it did back then. I think it's a collective mindset that people really want to make any trip feel worth it.
I think there's a more sophisticated understanding of what takes place in the pool. You know, like if you are swimming or if you're with, like business gets done in the pool. I just think the experience of being with another person, whatever the setting, is more valued. And it's not quite so. You need to be sitting around a conference table or in a row listening in order to be doing any serious work.
I just want to go on record to say that it's a good summer for me when I don't have to wear a bathing suit. So I don't plan on doing business in the pool at a conference. That's not going to happen. But for those people who are less self-conscious, it's probably a good thing.
That's me. I'm there with you.
Yeah, maybe the hiking trail is a better example.
Yeah. Oh, I'd be good on a hiking trail. Yeah, I love talking when I'm walking, for sure.
Park, yeah. Wasn't it interesting in that article that when they talked to the guy who went to the Formula One, that he actually brought up a conference? Like he said it was almost like a conference on Formula One, which I think just demonstrates that, people don't just want to drink wine and watch the cars go around in circles. They're really interested in, the business of it, and different people are interested in different parts. So there might even be ways for people to develop, maybe not full-blown conferences, but maybe some of the academics who study Taylor Swift will start setting up seminars in Taylor Swift cities. And what I like about these touring musical events is that they go to all kinds of cities that people may have overlooked. Like, Taylor Swift goes into, I'm not going to name any of them because I don't want to call them overlooked, except my beloved Oklahoma City, which a lot of people have thought, what's there? So if Taylor Swift would bring a sense of discovery.
So let's end on that note. Discovery. I think it's a good word for today's episode and what event planners should really take away from this article, how to discover and package interesting trips for their delegates. Thank you all again for showing up and having a look at this. And there will be links in the show notes. And of course, don't forget to support us by subscribing, liking, giving us a good review. All these things count. And yeah, until next time.